An ode to the men yelling about my yard. What is it about flowers and clover that brings up such anger for you? Is the idea of land that can't be cared for with power tools a threat? Does this small patch of land represent everything you can't control? I hear you every morning, yelling from your pickup trucks as you drive by. I see you seethe, staring as your wife stops to take a picture of my flowers. Our libertarian town agreed to live and let live. Your no step on snake includes my herbs and veggies. I hope you know that my garden is fed by your anger and disapproval. For every wildflower you pull out, I plant 20 more. Even I am fed by your disapproval. I've given up coffee and wake up early to hear the sweet sounds of your powerlessness.
I love going outside when it rains. It seems our gardens take on a new life. Everything is wet and all sorts of animals come out. Raindrops glisten on flowers, and the honeybees are still hard at work. All the moss perks up, and the slugs and snails come out. Everything just keeps growing and growing this time of year. And I love that the lilies are blossoming on our pond.
Sometimes you buy planes, and then you wanna buy more planes, but then people might try to tell you, hey, that's too many planes.
Dans mon esprit tout divague, je me perds dans tes yeux, je me noie dans la vague.
Today I picked some flowers for an upcoming project. I mostly got wildflowers along with some pansies destroyed by our worm friends. For these 2 flowers, I really liked them, but I didn't really care for the stems, so I individually plucked them off, which took a long time. I wish I had put them on the tissue paper first, but I didn't, so I had to individually move them over to the tissue paper. Next, I started plucking the petals off these Indian paintbrushes and pansies, and that also took a very long time. I was over it by this point. And I still didn't put them directly onto the tissue paper, but they got there, and they came out pretty nice. We'll see how they dry in about a week.
Je veux danser avec toi ce soir, ce soir. Je veux danser avec toi ce soir. J'adore les yeux bleus, j'adore les cheveux bruns de toi. Je veux danser avec toi ce soir, ce soir, ce soir, ce soir. Je veux danser avec toi ce soir. J'adore les yeux bleus, j'adore les cheveux bruns de...
Everyone seemed to like my flower pressing videos. I thought I'd do a how-to. And while collecting flowers, I ran into our little friend. So first I put them in a jar. They're easier to carry that way. Then I dump them out on the table and search for any little buggy friends. And this time I found a beetle and an ant. The beetle went in the jar because he scared me a little. Then you trim off all the leaves because that makes it easier to dry and less likely to mold. You can cut them or pull them, but if you pull them, make sure you don't pull too hard. Then you end up with a pile of leaves and a pile of clean flowers. I love pansies because they're so easy to press. They're great for beginners and you just line them up and put them on their face. But I put some on their sides to see if I could press them right this time. Then for snapdragons, it's better to put them in an alternating pattern because their buds are different. And then you wait for them to dry. Here are the flowers I started to press about a week ago. They came out pretty well and I was really proud of these, the snapdragon and some pansies. But I tried something new to fold them in half and they didn't really come out right. But that's okay, I'll still use them. Now moving on to this second book of them, this snapdragon came out nice. I wanted to show y'all how I pulled them off the page. But most of them didn't come out how I wanted them to. That's okay. I wanted them to come out folded in half like that, but that didn't really happen. And here's the lot of them. These came out funky, but I thought they looked like little fairy hats. I went outside today to get some flowers to press, and I noticed there was a lot of damage to most of them. And then I found the culprit. Caterpillars. I found like 5 or 6 of them and moved them to different parts of my garden. And then I finally got my flowers in to press, and one had followed me in. So I made a little buggy friend. Don't worry, I put him back outside after I was done pressing all my flowers. But until then, he chilled in this little cup.
tree in the meadow with a stream drifting by, and carved upon that tree I see, I love you till I die.
So we put the fire on. I have all these cherries, so I thought I'd make a pie. First I destoned them and cut them in half. I measured out 150 grams of sugar, added my strawberries to the cherries, sprinkled on 3 tablespoons of corn flour, and also added the sugar. Zested and juiced half a lemon, added half a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mixed it all together and left it to stand. I did cheat a bit with pre-made short crust pastry, and I really need to buy a proper pie dish. Laid out the pastry and the filling in a greased dish, and added some cute pastry leaves on top. I glazed it with milk and sprinkled on some sugar. I put it in the oven at 160 degrees for an hour, and it came out lovely and golden. The filling was sweet and syrupy, and the pastry was nice and crisp, and it's really good with ice cream or cream.